honestly, let's be for real. Half of you are not going to watch this video. You're going to see the graphic, and then you're going to go down below and type your thoughts and opinions on why your main, aka Wanderer, is not trash, even though they are truly benched. Go do it. Give me the engagement. That's fine. Honestly, the Clips and Reacts channel needs it. So there you go. I'm giving you a free lane. Usually I'm like, wait till the end of the video. Watch the full thing. I know you're not going to. I've given up on that journey. Genuinely, chat. I've given up on that. I can say that till I'm red in the face. It's not happening. But anyways, let's talk about this post first, and then we'll actually do the tier lists. All right. So this is my top 5. So this is basically every single element in Genshin and my opinion on the top 5 for each of them. Now, this is obviously very difficult because there was a ton of different like positions you could say in Genshin, as in like not all characters can be really truly measured equally. But I'm gonna do it anyways because drama. Honestly, I know every time I give my opinion on this website, people are gonna lose their minds. And like, I don't think it's rage baiting, personally. Because rage baiting would mean I am literally trying to upset you. But I'm not trying to upset anyone. It's just whenever I open my mouth, people are upset. And like, I shouldn't have to hold back on the content I post because no one can handle one person's opinion on the game. At the end of the day, I will truly say, and let me know if you agree in the comments or in chat right now, chat. It does not matter what order you put these characters in because someone is going to be upset. Because it's just not a thing that is solidified in fact. Like, everything is subjective, even the meta. Even if you have all the TC in the world, there are still gray areas in these characters of value. So it doesn't matter. There's like no true perfect tier list because somebody else is going to view something else as more important. Like, for instance, for me, flexibility is a really big deal with the character. Like, how usable is this? Because it's not about what the character is right now. It's about, can this character last, like, in the meta? Will they continue to be good? Because I feel like that's a lot of value. Like, you want a character that you're going to use now and you're going to use in, like, a year. Right? Right. At least that's my opinion, because I don't want to spend a lot of money. But hey, we all have different ideas. Some people will be like, no, the tier list is only damage. Damage, damage, damage. But is what it is. So, on the side of Cryo, it is Layla number 5, Shenna 4, Ganyu 3, Rio 2, Ayaka 1. With Cryo, there's not a lot of flexibility, I'm going to be honest. Like, Cryo struggles in that department. There isn't, like, a character that feels like a Nahida, that feels like a Farina, where, like, you can kind of put them anywhere and they're going to provide, like, a ton of value. That is just not something Cryo has, which is why everyone says Cryo is struggling right now. Very, very true. Very, very, very honest. But a lot of people mainly had a problem with Rio and Ayaka. I will say this, and this is my saving grace. I think Rio would be number 1 if there was a consistent melt pyro unit, which I think is coming. I think that might be Mavika or maybe somebody else. But until there is a consistent melt pyro applicator, like, I'm talking Yalan level, Yalan Sync Show level pyro application on a character that does not deal with a burn. Because you have to remember, burn is 2 slots, which is very annoying. Although it's great that burn is so strong and that you can use it, the fact that, like, to run burn, you then need to run Dendro into Cryo, which obviously has no synergy, is annoying. It would be way better if you could take, for instance, like, just a Cryo, just a Pyro, and then the other 2 slots can be whatever. Then you're thinking, okay, another Pyro for, like, the attack percent buff, or an Animo for Shred, or, like, whatever else. Like, you can get more value out of stuff, but because you're taking up those 2 slots, like, the Dendro, you know, like, what's it providing? And then on top of that, although Nahida is good and provides EM, which gives her a bit more flexibility into, like, Melt, she's not like Emily, where you can drop E and be off the field forever, because once Nahida's application runs out, which in Melt happens quickly, you have to bring her back. And then that fucks up, like, cooldown times, rotation times, that fucks up, like, you know, weapon up times of, like, when you're getting certain buffs. Like, I know it's crazy, and I know Twitter thinks otherwise, but method to my madness. Like, not everyone's there. You know? You're not on the guide level. When you make the guides, you see things differently. I also am boosting myself. I don't know everything, and I could be very much wrong on this. So because of that, Rio's 2, because Ayaka just does perform extremely well in burst scenarios. At the end of the day, she's still really good. And I feel like, okay, yes, right now in the meta, there's a lot of no freeze. Like, they're kind of staying away from freeze. They think freeze is too strong. Things can't be frozen. And I feel like that's why Ayaka and Cryo is suffering. But let's be honest, in Imaginarium Theater, where we're kind of getting a lot more options and rotations and characters, and not all the, like, you know, a lot of the enemies in Imaginarium are able to be frozen, Cryo is doing well. Some of the easiest Imaginariums involved Cryo. Like, that Freeze one was, like, my easiest Imaginarium, because Freeze locks down enemies, so they can't do anything, so you don't have to worry about being stunned, thrown around by a Consecrated Beast and all that. And then also, you have insane crit ratios if you're building correctly. So, yeah. I don't feel like any other, like, slots of this were controversial beyond Layla. Some people made a case for Diona, which I think is fair. But the reason I put Layla is because the shield is so strong. And we've gotten so many characters, or enemies, I should say, that really, really push the limits of shielding. Like, there are a lot of new enemies lately that have been dealing some crazy amounts of damage that almost go through shields. And Layla's shield is on par with Zhongli's, so that's why I put her in 5. Because also shields are just universal. Interruption resistance is so needed. And I fucking hate Diona. Because I feel she's clunky, but that's just my opinion. So yeah. Moving on. I feel like Cryo wasn't the one that people had a problem with. What do you guys think? Chat. Do you guys feel like Cryo is fair? Is there anything that you're like, no, someone deserves to be there? Layla is prettier, and also I don't like Diona and the whole, like, I'm like 11, but I work at a bar. Like, it's weird. Not that that was involved in this decision. Cryo is fine. Geo isn't. Okay, Nuvi, wait till we fucking get to Geo then. Damn. I asked about one. Also, you have to hold E with Diona to get max strength on shield, and Layla is just tap. And I think Layla has a shield refresh, right? Am I crazy? It's been a while since I've looked at Layla. Damn, I need to update her guide. Fremine was snubbed. No, Fremine is not on this list for a reason. Fremine was so disappointing, honestly, and I think that's just because he's like a mixed cryo-physical, and physical is just dead. Maybe one day. Kaya should have been there. He's better than Layla and has shield at C4. The only thing is, though, is that C4 with Kaya is so unobtainable for most people. Like, the odds that you're going to pull him on standard or on a random pull are so low, and, like, saving over multiple months for multiple years at that point is so unrealistic. I just feel like it's not worth it when, like, Layla is just way more, you know, approachable and, like, easy to get. Yeah. Layla uptime is 100%. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. They should add starter characters and banners. Yeah. Or just make them, like, purchasable all the time. I don't know why it needs to be on rotation. I think that's just unnecessary at this point in the game. When it first started, that makes sense. Like, the game was new. Do you know what I mean? They wanted to drip feed it, but now that there's so many 4-stars, like, just have them available. And you can just buy as many copies as you want. All right, moving on to Pyro. I feel like Pyro also wasn't too, like, problematic. People mainly agreed with me. I think the only people were talking about was Linny, which, I mean, I think if there was a number 6, Linny would be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he would be there. Actually, wait. How should we do this, chat? Should I, like, do all Cryo now instead of moving on to Pyro? Like, should we just jump over to the tier list and do the full one? That might be, like, make more sense in the video when we, like, divide it up. I can put, like, little stop markers and be like, Cryo, Pyro, this. Yes, let's do it. Cool. Great. Okay. I feel like I have to stay true to my word and, like, kind of keep this tier list semi-similar. So SS tier is going to be Ayaka. Now, remember, this is, like, not SS tier overall. This is just the element. We are, like, purely in the element only. So this is, like, relative to the element. SS tier for that. I think Rio is still SS tier as well. Who else do we have? Ganyu. I don't think Ganyu is SS tier. I think Ganyu is S. And still strong. And still, like, very easy to clear content with. And I think Shenhe is also S in regards to cryo. Yeah. Wait, why is B and A mixed up? Oh, someone does not know their alphabet, and that someone is me. Because at the end of the day, like, if you are going full cryo, like, if you were like, I want to be a cryo main, like, I want cryo only, most likely you are going to be pulling Shenhe. Like, Shenhe is, like, truly the support. She has great application. She's easy to use. She's not super annoying to build. Her ER isn't that wild. Like, Shenhe is just, like, very comfortable and very easy to slot into almost any cryo damage dealer. Because at the end of the day, she does buff on-field damage with, like, normals and stuff, but she also buffs, like, off-field damage with skill and burst, whatever you want. So, yeah. And then we have Layla. See, I don't know if Layla is S level at that point. I personally don't think so. I think Layla is a comfortable A. I do feel like in the future, Layla could be power crept because beyond shield, she doesn't do much. Like, there's not a huge crit damage bonus or, like, some other stat that she's giving. Kind of like some of these other 4-stars we've seen. We're still waiting for a 4-star cryo to do something similar to, like, Sara. And her application is pretty mediocre, unfortunately. So I feel like A is a good slot. And then let's go to the rest of the cryo units. Charlotte, I feel like, is right next to Layla. Good application, but unfortunately, just due to the meta, like, although providing team-wide damage or team-wide healing, you just, like, always take other options in that scenario with Farina. Like, it's very rare that, like, Charlotte is usually your option if you have no other option when it comes to, like, going with Farina. Like, all it really is team-wide healing and application. Her application's decent, but her burst is rather underwhelming, I will say. Who else do we got? Kaya, I would put an A. He's also an applicator. Actually, I feel like I'm lying. I feel like he's B. Because he is just application, and although his damage can be good, I just feel like it's just such a basic kit at the end of the day, and his application is very limited in terms of, like, distance. You have to be, like, right next to a unit in order for you to get that application. It's not like Shenhe where he, like, has a field, right? Where, like, you know, you have a massive AoE. So I'm gonna say B. Who else do we got? Frem? I think he's just disappointing. Like, you can invest so much into him, and I just truly feel like he just doesn't live up to an expectation. Is D maybe too harsh? No. I feel like D is where he belongs, unfortunately. In almost all scenarios of what he does, there are people that do it better, and he doesn't really bring anything unique. And I don't even think there's anything that can genuinely save his kit. Like, I just think it's the numbers. Maybe. And that's all, unfortunately. Which sucks, because he's a really awesome character, and I love his personality, and I loved him in the story. Okay, Chungyun? I want to kind of put him in A, because he is the original National. But maybe I should put him high B. He actually has surprising amounts of burst damage. And with the new plunge meta, Claymores just got so incredibly strong so easily. Plus, he provides any, like, user, well, with, I think it's Polearm, Sword, and Claymore with Cryo, which could be interesting later on. Did John pay you? Is John forcing you? Yes. If I don't do this, John actually messaged me and told me he would unfollow me on all platforms. So I would like to keep that clout in my back pocket. So we're putting him in B. Fuck y'all. He's the original national team. Like, literally, he's still the OG. You can still run him in national and clear. I mean, you can clear with any character, but, like, he is the blueprint. Okay, Chi-Chi's D. I used to think Chi-Chi was maybe C, but finding out that Chi-Chi had no energy creation on E, like on elemental skill, was the craziest discovery I've ever made in my life. Like, genuinely, that feels like a coding error. Like, fully. I feel so bad for Chi Chi. There's just like truly no usage. There's zero usage, zero reason. Even from, I'm like, well, you could have fun with plunge and maybe do something with it, and like there's physical, and physical is very limited, but like there's truly no usage for Chi Chi. Like F minus. I feel like that's a pretty common take. Okay, I although don't like it, am gonna put Diona in the A tier because out of like all of the characters, Diona does have usage, even now still in teams, and is easy to work with. Doesn't she also provide EM? Or am I crazy? I think she does, right? On like, is it like C6 EM? I agree her shield is like mid. But you have to remember, the shield is mid, but she's also healing. So she's kind of doing that Baiju thing where she's like 2-1. And the EM is a great bonus. Like 200 EM, that's not anything to like scoff at. And if you think about it, chat, in a situation where we do get a melt oriented meta later on, where we can like, you know, have a Xingqiu or Yelan that's pyro, Diona's usage will skyrocket because that EM value will go insanely high. Because now Diona is providing double cryo, healing, shielding, although minimum some interruption resistance, right? And EM at C6, which is going to obviously exponentially increase the damage. And then on top of that, she can still run like a Noblest set if you want to. So, and or instructors if you're crazy. So I feel like she has good flexibility to this day. And that's enough. And elegy, but who's doing that? Like, who has that kind of cash? Okay. I think it's Rosaria next. Rosaria is so tough because, like, although she's, like, good, she has application and a really cool crit buff, the crit buff at the end of the day, I think, is 15%, which is not insanely high. And in cryo situations, crit is honestly something you rarely ever need anyways. You get so much from other sources. Like, she's like easy to work with. You can truly throw her into anything, but I don't feel like she provides enough value at this point. I'm going to put her in like low B. Do I put her in C or low B? I'm going to put her in low B. I don't think she's C material because at least she's giving something. She's basically giving application like Kaya, but with crit. Kaya has a little bit more movability with that application, where like with Rosaria, you're kind of stuck. But she does have some usage. So I think low B, like B to C on that border. Eula is so difficult. I almost feel like the physical units like Eula could be somewhere else. Like, this honestly might be controversial, but I think Eula is C. Because there's no fix right now. There's genuinely no fix right now. The only scenario you're taking Eula in is if you're in a situation where there's no shields. And, like, that is literally never the case at this point. Shields have become, like, such a huge thing that we have to deal with in the meta constantly. Like, elemental shields, and physical, like, just cannot deal with it. The only time you can is if you're running these, like, really weird team comps with Eula, and then you're doing that at the expense of Eula's damage. Like, if you run Eula's, like, true best in slot team, you are, like, constantly struggling against certain shield scenarios. I just feel like physical needs help. Like, genuinely. Like, physical's just dead in the meta. Probably, and it's probably more dead than even Geo was. And that's the thing, she does have great damage. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're looking for that, like, hyper burst, like, damage feeling, you're gonna get it with Eula. But for the level of investment to do that, and then only to end up with a character that you can only use in very specific scenarios, like, I don't know if it's worth it, personally. Like, I don't think it's worth building all of these units that are so hyper specific to physical just for them to, like, come and go, like, once in a while. That's my opinion. I think if they were to fix physical, like, Eula would easily go into, like, high A, low C, or low S. If there was a fix to that. Like, if there was a way that, like, physical could, like, shred through shields, like, they like gave us like a physical support that like shredded through shields and all that, then I like 100% think that Eula could easily be here or A at that point. But until that's fixed, or until the meta shifts away from this like double Pyrolector bullshit, like I just feel like Eula's constantly struggling. Who else is left? There's like a couple cryo characters. Aren't there like at least two more? Oh, Aloy? Aloy? Like I feel like Aloy's D. Like who's using Aloy? Right? I mean, like she's bursty and like she is just like a phrase DPS, but like I just feel like there's no reason to build her. You can't even get constellations. Like there's no like future trajectory for the character. It's just like useless. You know? Is there anyone else? Is that all cryo? Oh, this little chicken little head. I think Mika is also D. I think he's like the highest of D. But well, actually I feel like I could put him in C. The problem with Mika is like even in the teams that he's supposed to be the strongest in, he sometimes doesn't even get taken because there are actually other supports. Like even in Eula's best comp, I don't even think Mika gets taken. The only thing he's providing is team-wide healing, but like why build him for that when he like barely does anything else? You know? There are other team-wide healers that at least do other stuff. Like I would rather you build Jean at that point, but I don't know. Again, he suffers from like obviously being tied so closely to physical that until physical is fixed, like his usage rate is just like so specific, probably even more specific than Eula. Yeah. I'm putting him at C. Literally, and if he didn't have team-wide healing, he'd be dead. He'd be D. Okay, that's cryo. Anyways, back to Pyro, which we were talking about. Felt like this is a very, very base take. Chev, Hu Tao, Zhongling, Arlecchino, Bennett. The fact that so many people were saying Bennett is like losing position in the meta was crazy. I don't know like what people are smoking. There were so many people that are like, Bennett's like kind of like not that great anymore. And I'm like, girl, I literally struggle whenever I'm doing team guides to not have him in on almost every other team. Sure, like the restriction is you're playing Circle Impact, you can't leave, but the attack buff, like attack is still such a common stat that characters need even now. Like it's very like unlikely that he's going to move from his position beyond someone literally just power creeping him. I still think he's so strong and probably one of the most used characters in the game these days. Arlecchino is second because she has really good damage, and genuinely sometimes it feels like you could take Arlecchino and literally a Hydro Applicator and clear. She just has so much innate in kit scaling on her own. Plus, she obviously like all of her healing mechanics are inner. Like, you know, like you don't need anyone. You just need to play her correctly. Like she's kind of has that Nouvelette thing where she's a little bit self-sustaining in that way as long as you're playing well. Arlecchino's just really strong. Really easy to use. I think she's also easy to work with. You can cause a swirl because you have to get off the field anyways. Like she had a kit that was definitely designed with the meta in mind that's working right now. Zhongling, busted, broken, so strong for like barely anything. The only problem she has is ER issues. It seems like every stat is a good stat for Zhongling. She just continues to work on every team. You can literally just throw her in anywhere just to deal damage. I then put Hu Tao because Hu Tao has more flexibility in my opinion than Linny. And that always comes down to the fact of like, yes, I understand. Well, then you just won't take Linny. But like when you're going again into a meta where there's like shield units, resistances, and all that, Linny is like mono pyro. Where Hu Tao, even if you're going up against Pyrolectors, you can still like take like double, triple hydro and like kind of like cheese your way through it and do it. Do I think she's a little bit clunky? Sure. Do I think there are a little bit of issues? Like, yes. But like she still works within the meta. And Shallonen is a direct buff to her because her main issue is with Kozua and getting that pyro application in order to swirl. And now Shallonen doesn't even fucking do that. Like, You know, to this day, usually when there's a good support like Farina and now Shalonen, somehow Hu Tao is getting secondary buffed from the side. I think Hu Tao is easy damage, easy clearing. Again, yes, her playstyle is like a little bit of a learning curve, but she's been strong to this day and still continues to be strong. The next one I put up was Chev. Because Chev is like able to replace Kazuha in certain situations. And I feel like if I am putting Kazuha at 1, and there are literally situations where Chev outdoes Kazuha and is a better option, obviously it's C6, but you have to keep that in mind, then I feel like she deserves her spot. Well, although very specific within Overload, she's still like, it's just so easy. Like, it's not like Overload in the sense of like Bloom with Nilu, where Overload is the damage. It's Overload as the trigger to her buff. You need to proc 1 Overload, which is very easy to do. It's not like consistent Overload where there's like a bunch of other bells and whistles you need to ring in order to make her work. As long as an Overload is happening, she's doing what she needs to do and giving a ton of stat bonuses plus healing, which is always great. And I think a little bit of team-wide healing at C4. So that's why I put her there. I felt like that was enough of a reason. And yeah, she's easy to build. She's flexible when it comes to like, you know, either snapshotting tenacity or, you know, putting her on noblesse, instructor, whatever it may be. All that kind of stuff. All right. Let's yeet these motherfuckers and let's do pyro. Dang, it's gonna be a really long video. I just took that in. Okay, who do we put on the top again? Bennett? Where's our boy? Where's Benny boy? I guess I should just keep going. I'll just like throw them in as I see them. Okay, Amber's D. Unfortunately. God, I wish there was an Amber buff somewhere. I really do, man. Like, there's just no way, there's no reason to take her, unfortunately. Bennett's easily SS tier. Arlecchino, I think, is honestly SS tier as well. Gomming? Ooh. Gomming is in some insane damage for a 4-star. Like, Gomming's best teams can rival 5-stars. Genuinely, I honestly want to put him in S. Like, his best teams, like, if you have Shanyan, if you have, like, good application, like, we're talking Farina, like, his damage is crazy. Self-sufficient. Easy to build. You probably already have characters that work with him if you're pulling any of the meta units. I'm putting him in S. I don't know if he's going to be the highest in S. He might be the lowest in S, but I'm putting him in S. His damage is wild for a 4-star. And there's just, like, he does have a decent amount of usability. Diluc did get a buff with Shanyan. Oh, I don't know. I kind of want to put him in A. The thing is, though, is that he only has use in A. You know what? Maybe I put them both in A, actually. Because they're so specific. And I do want to value, like, the flexibility of other units. I think I'm putting them both in A, actually. Now that I'm really thinking about it. Also, wait. Let me get everyone else. Where's Zhongling? I don't know if I want to put Hu Tao in SS, though. Where's Hu Tao? There you are. I feel like I want to put Hu Tao in S. Along with Linny. Not because Gamin can plunge without Shanyan. That is true. Diluc is so slow and straight up shit unless you have cons. But his damage in Shanyan plunge is good. Is it just too specific, though? Maybe it's just too specific. Because then I would have to make an argument for Yanfei, because Yanfei's damage in plunge is good. Also, yes, I agree. I need to put Chev up. Where the hell is she? Oh, I don't see her. Did I? Wait, where is Chev? Oh, right here. Oh, but I'm putting Chev here. Amelie brought Diluc back. Oh, okay, I don't agree with that. That's mainly like Emily with any pyro damage dealer. I don't feel like Emily's doing anything for Diluc. Emily is just like strong. Klee is C. I think Klee is C. I just feel like there's like Klee doesn't do anything special within pyro. Her C2 is good, but like really C2? For that? Like I don't like I'm not going to pay that much money just for that C2. There are like better C2s out there that do way more. Yoimiya, I also think in regards to pyro is C. I know it sucks, but like I think it's true. I just continue to feel like she just struggles to keep up. Regardless of how much you're investing, she just continues to struggle to keep up, and like her interruption resistance is so trash. And like for a single target damage dealer, she needs to be doing way, way, way more damage for her to be competing. And that's the problem, I think. Like if she was pulling out Fei Xiao, which I know is a different game, but do you know what I mean? Like it's literally like Sela versus Fei Xiao. Think about it. Like Fei Xiao is dealing so much single target damage that you're like, okay, although single target, like she's clearing the field. And like Sela needed to be dealing that level of damage in order to be like valuable within the meta. Of course she's the best pyro bow, but like who cares? Diluc over Yoimiya is crazy. But like, hello, Shenyan's not gonna help fucking Yoimiya. Where Diluc can at least work in AoE scenarios. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm gonna get cooked for this in the freaking comments. You know what? I'm leaving it. I gotta stick to my guns. D tier. Love her, but D tier. There's like maybe like what, two reasons to take her? Two options. Yanfei. It's like, but then am I gonna put Yanfei above Yoimiya? Like, no. Because they also, like... Ooh. But the thing is Yanfei can plunge and then go into AoE. And they have tank fee if you really want to do that. Oh, this is so difficult. Okay, Toma had a resurgence with Burgian. Do I think it's enough? No. Like, I think eventually Toma will get crept as well. We just don't have good pyro applicators. I want to put him in, like, in high B, low A. I just feel like he'll get power crept so quickly. So quickly. Like, the minute we actually get decent pyro units that aren't main DPS, like, goodbye Toma. Toma will be, like, literally D tier. You'll never use him, in my opinion. So I'm going to put him at A. I think A is a good spot. Like, he has this, like, little niche in Burgian, but that's it. Am I missing anyone? Is that it? I'm looking. I don't see anyone. Oh, Dia! Damn. Dia mains are going to kill me for that. Where is she? I mean, Dia has found some resurgence also within Burgian and Burning. Like, she isn't as bad as she was. But again, I do think, like Toma, it'll be power crept to, like, death and back. Oh, Wish Upon a Star is off. Thank you for reminding me. I will turn it on right now. Damn, that was a long time. Oh, okay. I feel like if I put Toma where Toma is, then I have to put Dia. where Toma is, because I feel like they're very similar in usage. Mm, I don't like DeLuca's strong, but like the more I look at him, I'm like, it's so specific. I think I want that, honestly. I'm even tempted to do this. Mm, like if someone told me like, should I build DeLuca or should I build Yoimiya? I would probably still say Yoimiya. I feel. Oh, okay. I'm gonna commit to that. Actually, I'm gonna commit to that. Actually, let's do that. Let's do that. Like Yoimiya is above, but just slightly. Just slightly. I think that's. I think I'm. I think I'm okay with that. I think I can lock that in without feeling like I'm insane. Okay, I need to move on. I need to move on. This will be the longest video ever. Geo. Okay, so many people had a problem with Geo. I don't even know why. I genuinely don't even know why. So many people are having a whole fit about Geo. Okay, I put Zhongli number 5 because he's a shield bot, bitch, and that's it. Like genuinely, the shred not a huge deal anymore. There's so many different ways that you get shred these days. So many. So many different ways, and I'm sure in the future there'll be even more ways that you get like resistance shred. And on top of that, like the shield, although like it's a good shield, like now so many characters have built in resistance interruption or can like, you know, kind of almost like pay a little bit more for resistance interruption. And we're kind of also getting into like a meta time, in my opinion, where like you can sometimes even just out damage like things to the point that you can kill things before they're even a problem. I feel like yes, Zhongli is comfortable, and a lot of new players or players that aren't very good like cling to him because obviously he's comfy. Like he gives you a shield, you can not care and just stand there and do what you want. But like later on, I feel like you kind of find ways to like get rid of him on the team. Like he kind of takes a back seat more and more. So yeah, I also think that Zhongli could easily be power crept as well in the future. I don't think like out of Archons especially, I don't think he's insanely strong for like being an Archon. Like shielding isn't as like it's not like there's no shielders in the game. Do you know what I mean? It'd be very different if like there were barely any shielders, but there will continue to be shielders in this game. So I'm like, okay, shielding isn't something special. Although his is a good shield, we literally already have Layla who has a similar shield. And then I'm like, Res Shred, it's 20%. Like, yeah, it's nice to have, but like 20% isn't VV. It isn't even, I'm pretty sure, like, Chev gives even more Res Shred. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, or a very similar amount at least. Like, it's not an insane amount. And Shalonin is giving Res Shred now too. So, yeah. Ito and Shiori rely on Zhongli. How are they above? Because Ito and Shiori, I feel like, have less of a chance of getting power crept than Zhongli does. Although, yes, they'll use Zhongli, like, Ito and Shiori all hold, like, very specific positions for what they do. Like, Ito is obviously an on-field sustained damage dealer, where Navi is more of, like, a bursty damage dealer. And Ito still can pull big numbers to this day. And I feel like if there was like a C6 version, or not C6, sorry, a 5-star version of a Goru, like that might replace Zhongli in his team. Like a really dedicated full Geo moment kind of thing. Or just like, I just feel like Zhongli, like, isn't even necessary there. Chiori is less to deal with Zhongli and more to deal with the fact that there aren't enough Geo characters in the game. Like we went how many patches like without like Geo? Like we were like in a drought. There just aren't enough characters with what are they called again? Constructs. There aren't enough like characters with constructs in the game. And that's why. Like cuz Geo is just struggling within the meta right now. They just haven't developed it enough. Chiori is also way more flexible. Chiori is kind of, in my opinion, like Zhongling, where you can just throw her in a team and just get extra damage at the end of the day. Even if you're not running double Geo, like you can literally just throw Chiori anywhere and she's going to provide damage, like good damage, which is just great. And but who cares if Geo doesn't apply much? Who gives a fuck about Geo application? Maybe the only time you need is crystallize. And like there's one character in this game that really deals with crystallize. So like geo application is like negligible. You know what I mean? In my opinion. So that just felt like a no-brainer to me. She's flexible. She can go into any team you want. She's easy to build. She does what she needs to do. Low field time. She's in, she's out. Like damage. It reminds me of like Fischl. Genuinely. Like, and that's why Fischl is so high. Obviously, Fischl is different because she's Electro, and Electro's way more, like, reactable, so she has that bonus. But, like, Fischl is just great because, like, you literally throw her on the field and she's pumping damage like it's nobody's business. Navia, obviously, very strong. One of the, like, the most flexible Geo characters because she's not locked to the element like everybody else. Very strong damage. Literally just stands there and fucking annihilates things with her eyes closed. I feel like that's why I also put her like above Ito because she deals bursty damage, though they're damage because Ito is sustained damage. You have to remember, one big number does not equal the same. Like just because Ito's only hitting like 90k, he's hitting 90k every like point, like half a second or whatever the fuck. Where like Navia, yes, she's hitting like 300k, but that's 2 hits at 300k, and then you're like on another rotation where Ito's just like slamming shit. But I do think her flexibility really obviously brought her up. And then Shallonen number one because Shallonen is just Kazuha. Like Shallonen can heal, shred, help with some damage, though not a lot. She like is not even requiring application in order to freaking do what she needs to do. She is just truly like a universal support, which is all you can ask for in a character. So I felt like that's why. Sorry, well, were people just mad at the order, or were there like characters that they wanted to be in here? Because I mean, order like, when it comes to like the top five of an element, there's obviously like minimal differences between the two. It sometimes feels like the margin between them is like literally slivered. So it could just be like my value versus what you value. Um, but feel free to let me know now that I'm reading chat. Also, wait, let me put up the characters. So Shilonen's there. Chiori, I feel like is S. Navia's SS. Where's Ito? I feel like Ito's low S. Where's Zhongli? Zhongli's low S. Is that everybody? 1, 2, yeah, 5. Yeah. That's the biggest complaint is the order. When I figured from the jump that it was a particular order, they're mad at Zhongli below Ito and Chiori. Though I just feel like the problem is like Chiori could carry you with damage, and like Ito could carry you as well in the damage category at least. But I don't feel like Zhongli could carry you even with having a strong shield, like, and the res. Like, I just don't feel like his impact is as large, if that makes sense. He's just like really comfy. So like if you're a person that just struggles, like sure you'll feel a difference. But like you can get the same amount of value, I feel like, almost out of Layla because the shred isn't that big of a deal. And that's why like I have Layla at 5 and Zhongli at 5 because I just feel they're genuinely so similar. No, it's not. It's not all about DPS. Of course not. which is, if it was all about DPS, Zhongli would be not even on the list. But like Zhongli just doesn't feel like hyper impactful beyond like having a shield. Yeah, his ultimate mini freeze, but like I'm pretty sure in TC it's like a common known thing that you if you ult with Zhongli, you're probably losing damage. You know? Anyways, going to the other characters. Who else is Geo? Noelle? Noelle is honestly very strong. Like, Noelle is kind of crazy. I honestly want to put her in S, but the thing is Noelle has such specific conditions. Like, it's like one team. Like, Noelle with Farina. Fucking annihilating the entire field. I'm, like, so tempted to put her in S, but, like, I don't know. I feel like high A. I feel like high A. I think high A is, like, really comfortable for her. The only thing is, though, is, like, it's kind of like the Eula thing, where you're building her for one reason and one reason alone. But unlike Eula, she has, like, way more flexibility with team members, because she's obviously Geo. And her team members that she does work with tend to work well in the meta because they have, like, good application, they help with, like, shields and all that kind of stuff. Isn't she better than Ito in that team? I think they're, like... Well, they're, like... The thing is, Noelle has, like, healing team-wide because of her shield. But if you have, like, a built enough Goru with, like, Farina and stuff, I think it's just... It's around equal. It's hard to tell because we just don't have fights that, like, last that long. They would both, like, kill something so fast if you're running, like, those top meta teams. And I do think that Ito might have a better long-term benefit because he's not split scaled. So if there's anybody that's like, well, he's like a little split scaled, but I just feel like because he's so oriented with Geo, that in the future he might work better with future Geo units versus Noelle, where I don't think they're paying attention to him or Noelle that much. But yeah. Albedo I think is A as well. Cause like it's basically Chiori Light with a random EM thing. I think Albedo's A, like he has a benefit of being flexible. It just sucks that he like doesn't have the damage like the Chiori did, obviously. He literally just got like directly power crept. I don't think he's like awful. I just think there isn't a lot of use cases. You're kind of just throwing him in. And yeah, his construct is a little bit annoying to work with, and annoyingly enough. Goru. I think Goru is like A B, maybe B because Mono Geo is so like niche, unlike other mono teams. I might put him in B. I feel like there are other characters that like are C6 that are C6 that don't have so many conditions. Like the fact that you have to run like full Geo in order to get like every single bonus kind of sucks. Where like other characters are like, oh, you just need C6 and any unit of this like type, like of Electro gets the 60%. But in his case, it's like, no, you need like 3 of this. And like that part was kind of annoying. I think if his kit was a little bit more flexible, where it's like, no, as long as you have C6 any Geo unit, then I would be like, oh, he's kind of like Chev in an instance. But yeah, him having to be locked to Mono Geo is just very annoying. Kachina. I feel like Kachina's not bad. And like with the new meta sets of this whole like, you know, being able to use the Night Soul like that artifacts, that's pretty good. I kind of want to put her in low A. Like she almost feels like a side grade in a way to Albedo. I feel like she's easy to use. Her damage is non-existent. Really? I feel like I feel like her being able to hold the set, the Nautilin set, because the Nautilin set is so strong, is like enough alone to put her in A, which is pretty crazy how much it rides on an artifact. Am I missing anyone? Who's Geo? This is not all the Geo characters. Who's left? Oh, Yuchin! I feel like Yuchin, she's like, she provides, but like I just feel like there's no slot for her. When you're running a team where people are normal attacking, you're almost always going for other units who like provide application, right? Like like when you're running like someone who's on the field who's like normal or charge attacking, like okay, now I want to vape this charge attack, or I want to do this with this charge attack, I want to add damage. Where in her case, like you're just like directly increasing the actual damage, but there's obviously no reactivity because it's Geo. And then like attack speed only like actually affects very specific units that benefit from it. Hmm. Like I think we're just limited. I think this is like a scenario where you're limited to four slots, and there are characters that you need reactions for. There are characters that you need other things for. You need a healer. Like I think honestly, maybe if she was able to heal, then you would be like, ooh, like I could fit her in. But because you're like looking for other stuff, you always somehow end up being like, well, there's not really room for her. I think I'm going to put her in high B. Actually, low B. I literally just rarely find that I'm grabbing her at this point, especially now with like even Farina being released. Like I'm literally never reaching for her, like ever. There's just other characters that have buffs and can do more. Um, People were saying Ning, and I was like, true. How did I forget the wannabe 5 star? Where is she? Oh, I feel like Ning is just suffering from success. I want to build her so bad so I could test her with Farina and like some cool like crystallized stuff, but I just feel like there hasn't been anything that has directly buffed her that hasn't just buffed everybody else. You know what I mean? Like anytime Ning has been buffed, the ceiling has buffed everybody in that scenario, so she's kind of not budged. And then I do feel like her gameplay feels slow. Like when I'm playing her, I almost am like, girl, hurry up with your animations. Like, go, girl, like get that damage out. Yeah. I think she is clunky, and I don't know what would help her beyond maybe a weird crystallized meta where you're running her with like a bunch of other elements just to create as many crystals as possible and do something with it, but that doesn't exist right now. So I think I honestly am putting her in C. I think she is the lowest of Geo currently. Yeah. And it's not like she had a really cool ability with the projectile thing, but that just like never ended up needing use. So yeah, it's so sad because I do like Ning. Okay, is that everybody? Chat? Yes or no? I'm not a Geo main. I'm pretty sure that is beyond Traveler, but I'm not ranking Travelers. Travelers are all trash except for like the Geo one, or not Geo. Sorry. Well, Geo one's actually not that bad, but the Danger one. Okay, that's everyone. Moving on. Okay, Electro was like a war zone, like truly a war. I think Electro was like worse in the comments than Geo. Like everyone like truly wanted my head on a stick, but I thought that that was like so stupid. I didn't understand why. Honestly, I guess people think I'm like a Raiden simp and that like I'm Delulu, but I'm like, okay, listen. Although Raiden might not be the best at everything, she does everything. Like some people are like, oh, but Cookie's better in this scenario. Oh, but Fischl's better in this scenario. I'm like, yes, I understand that, but like you realize that like Raiden exists in all scenarios. Like if there's something that needs to be done and Electro needs to be there, like she's there. She's doing it. She could do it if you wanted her to in a way. Anyways, I put Clorand 5 because personally, Bond of Life felt so fucking underdeveloped. I think if Bond of Life was way more involved and had a lot more usage and like people were playing around with it, kind of like maybe the whole like HP fluctuation thing that they did, then I think Clorand would have been a lot higher. But because like Bond of Life kind of got left to die after Sejuin, I was just like how is she going to like continue to develop better than any of the other Electro units, right? Because most likely anything that buffs Electro will probably buff everybody and not just Chlorand. The only thing Chlorand had going for them was Bond of Life, but Bond of Life was whatever. Yes, Arlecchino also has Bond of Life, but her Bond of Life works a bit different because she's like a self-sustain fully, and like also just Pyro is stronger innately. Like Pyro is so strong. Um and that's why. And also again, it's relative. You have to remember like every element has a role to play. Like Hydro is like the element of reactions, and that's why a lot of the like really good Hydro characters or characters that have tons of application can help with reactions. Electro is kind of like that as well. Like a lot of off field, a lot of like procking, a lot of like that. Pyro is like the damage element. Like yes, there are scenarios where you're like going for reactions, but it's mainly damage dealers at this point. Like every element kind of plays in its own lane to a degree. Um, I put Chlorine at 5 because she's strong. She's obviously like working with Aggravate. You could even do Hyper Bloom if you wanted to. I think she has enough flexibility that she works well, and she does have good damage, but I don't feel like her damage is like insanely game breaking. Anytime I personally play Chlorand, like I'm like, oh, the damage is good, but I'm never like in that moment where I'm like, holy shit, in my opinion. Maybe I just played bad Chlorans, but that's just how I felt. Miko, because application. Like, off field application is so good for Electro. She's easy to slot in. She has a very wide coverage of said Electro. Like, it's turret based, and they can be like as far as you want them to be almost. So it covers so much distance. And Miko does output a lot of damage at this point too, that I feel like she's worth like putting in 4. The only reason she's not above Bishal is because Bishal is just genuinely faster. Like, if Miko didn't have her setup time, I think she would be above Bishal. But because you have to fucking hit E3 goddamn times, it's a little bit annoying. She does extend rotations. Kuki Shinobu because she's a healer and a hyper bloom killer. 3. But she's only there because she's literally only for one thing. I don't know why people were like, Kuki Shinobu 1. I'm like, guys, she does one thing and one thing only. She does it very well. But also, do remember that, like, that Hyper Bloom trigger is pretty limited to, like, being around your character, right? Like, it is an AoE pulsing from you. And, like, yes, most of the time that's fine. You're, like, up and close and personal when you're playing her on teams. But, like, it is still a limiting factor to some degree. And I do think, like, yes, Kuki Shinobu is great, and she's very strong for what she does. But, like, it's only one thing. One really good thing, but one thing. Official, crazy application. Crazy damage. Pretty sure she has 100% uptime. Easy to build. Workable in any team. Fast rotations. Self-heal. Need I say more? Like, and this is all as a 4-star, by the way. As a 4-star. And even with Fischl not at C6, she's still good. Obviously, C6 helps her a lot, but she's still good, even not at C6, just because of how much she does. Very easy to work into any team. And then Raiden, because Raiden does everything that I just freaking said. She deals good damage. She can proc Hyper Bloom. I don't know why people think, like, Raiden... Like, why do people not think about Raiden Hyper Bloom? Like, Raiden can do Hyper Bloom if you want. Yeah, it's, like, cringe to build, like, EM on Raiden. But Raiden is great for Hyper Bloom because, like, her freaking damage procs at a distance. So if you're using, like, a Catalyst or distance unit, you're proccing Hyper Blooms and you're not even in the fight. Like, you're far away. And then on top of that, she's a freaking insane battery. And who the fuck wants to build ER on everyone? Like, do you know how many times, like, Raiden helps my teams with ER? She kind of has, like, that Zhongli feel where she, like, helps comfort you. Because, like, Zhongli is, like, the comfort of a shield and Raiden's the comfort of, oh, you ignored ER for every single character? Well, you can kind of get away with it because, like, Raiden's providing so much. So, I just feel like Raiden has, like, truly so much usage. You can run her in Hyper Electro, where it's only Electro. You could technically run her into Aggravate if you really wanted to, or Spread. You could run her into, like, Electro Charge. You could run her in National. You could run her in Overload. You can run her, like, on field, off field, fucking literally every single thing, and she increases burst damage. So if there's ever a meta, which there might be in future, of like super low cooldown where like you have a way to reduce cooldowns and be bursting all the time, do you know how strong Raiden's gonna be for teams like that? Like, I just feel like it's really easy to put her truly anywhere and her to at least do something with it. So yeah, that's why she's one. I don't know why I got yelled at so much for that. Like, what did people think should have been one, genuinely? And there better be people in chat that speak the fuck up, because people had a lot to say on fucking Twitter. Like, what was one Electro to you? Dory, be so serious. Fischl? Okay, okay, hypothetically, if you think it's Fischl, there's no reason for people to be up my ass for me putting Fischl 2, Raiden 1. Genuinely. Like, if that is truly what people thought, where it's like, no, Fischl should have been 1, like, it was a flip like this, be for real. Because people were, like, mad. Like, mad like I killed someone mad. And the thing is I would still put Fischl, by the way, in SS tier. It's not like they're a tier away. Like, I would put Raiden here, and then I would put Fischl right next to them. Where's Fischl? Fischl. Where's my girl? Oh, there she is. Some people said that, I think some people said that Beto shouldn't have been on the list, and I was like, that's a crazy take. I feel like Beto, like, is just way too ER hungry. Where a lot of these other characters could run as solo Electro a lot easier. Which does happen, surprisingly. Okay, who else do we got? Lisa C. The only thing that's going for is, like, defense shredding. I've never felt the need to build Beto. Same. I do think she's B, though. I don't think she's bad. I just think there's, like, very, very small usages as to why to use her. Ooh, Kaching. Let me put Kaching in A for now. Kaching is not SS tier, Kira. Be so serious. Sora, A. Sino, A. Kuki, S. If Kuki was a team-wide healer, she would be SS tier. Genuinely, though. I feel like that's the only reason why Kuki's only S. If Kuki was a team-wide healer, girl, SS tier. So quickly. Miko, S. Who else am I missing? Where are all my Electro girlies at? These are like my favorite characters, my favorite element. That's why I was so upset too, by the way. So many people on my ass. I was like, this is literally my favorite element. Fuck y'all for that. Oh yeah, Sethos. I feel like I don't know enough about Sethos to like really accurately place him. I don't know. Like, aggravate Hyper Bloom. I don't even know how much damage he genuinely deals. Like, I feel like I haven't seen much TC on him. You're gonna put Sethos at A? Really? You know what? I think that's fair because I think actually I want to put Kaching here. I feel like Sino has potential to be better. But I don't think Kaching has much more of a ceiling at this point. Like, I think Dendro definitely helped Kaching, obviously, but I don't see anything like really like changing at this point to make Kaching better. And I also think that might apply to Sethos based on their kits. I love Kaching, lowering Kaching like that. I'm just being honest. Razor actually some pretty crazy fucking rainbow teams happening these days. I do think he is also reaching his own limit as well. I want to put him in the pack here. But he is so strong. But I feel like he's so strong because of other characters. Like, I think Sino is objectively stronger than Razor. Sino is just suffering from success with too much field time. He's physical? What? No one's running that. What's the current Razor meta? I think Sir Jeff made it. It's like overload plus like it's like everything. It's like overload, aggravate, Burgian, like all at once. It's like crazy. Yeah, it's like Rainbow Razor. There's just so many reactions hitting. Thundering Fury. Yeah, he doesn't have to be physical. I think that's like the old way of people running him now. I mean, you still can, but I wouldn't. Is that everyone? Is that all of it? Where's Rue? Bro, I'm so excited to see what Oleron does. Bro, imagine if Oleron power creeps Fischl. I can't even imagine what that would be like, but bro. I had this idea chat where I want him to be a plunge DPS, which is crazy to think about with a bow. But I think it would be really cool if he had an ability kind of like Wanderer where he can hover in the air, but then he like shoots arrows to the ground. So not like up and down in the sense of other plungers, but like he like kind of goes into this like charged form where he's just like poof, poof, and it's just like almost like arrow raining. I think that would be really cool. And would give like a different vibe for like a non-fielder of a bow user. I don't know what else they would do though with Electro, because I'm like, unless they do like AOE Electro application, which would be really really freaking strong, but like I don't know if they're wanting to do that. Well, Fischl was good with Plunge and HI3, so it is a possibility. AoE healer? See, I can't imagine him being a healer though, with his like evil Fatui vibes. I don't know if he's a 4-star. I don't think so, personally, but who knows? I don't want him to be. I feel like he's interesting. Alright, who's left? Dendro. I still think Baiju's 5. Everyone was like Baiju 2, and I was like, I don't agree. I think if Baiju had better application, I would easily put him way higher. But Dendro is so application based, in my opinion, that that is where Baiju kind of suffers. Like, obviously, he's a team wide healer, and he has a shield, which is always nice. But his healing, I feel like, isn't insanely strong. And his shield is like hit or miss. It obviously is like a lot smaller, so sometimes you will get interrupted through it. My thing is this. I think if there were more team-wide healers, Baiju would continue to get less and less usage. And that's the only thing going for him. Like, I really think that Farina is obviously giving Baiju such a boost, but the minute we're like maybe a year or two from now and there's more hopefully team-wide healers, I don't feel like people will gravitate towards Baiju because Dendro especially is so specific with slots. Like, I'm thinking Hyperbloom, I'm thinking Burgian, like there's already 3 slots taken, and sometimes you're like, fuck man, like I don't have room for Baiju and all that. Or like you're kind of like forced onto him. So yeah. Emily right now is like dealing an insane amount of damage alone. Like she's basically Zhongling level. She has off-field application. And although she is limited in Burn and Burgian, she can actually work with Bloom because it's not nerfed. And her application rivals Nahita's because yes, Nahita has really strong application, but it runs out where like Emily is consistent. And I feel like there are going to continue to be scenarios where you're going to want that application, even to the point that you might even run her into future Electro teams, but you're like, I just need the application and she's so good at it that like I'm willing to take the hit on her damage because like this other character can provide the damage and I need her utility in that way. She also has great uptime. Like I'm pretty sure it's 100%. And her damage is insane. Her damage is really good for like being an off-fielder. So I felt like it was easy to put her in 4. I put condition 3 because although yes, you can run him outside of Burn and Burgian, he obviously gets a lot of damage from Burn and Burgian. And although yes, he has great movement and like swapping on the field and all that stuff. I don't feel like characters right now in the game work well with characters with a lot of movement. Like he's fucking annoying to use with, for instance, Bennett. Like you have to be like kind of like juggling in an area. I think in future when like more characters come out, hopefully that aren't so circle impact as we call it, he's gonna continue to do well. But I put Alhaitham above him because Alhaitham I felt like is still more flexible than like Kanish, in the sense that like although you probably won't do it often, if you really had to, you could run Alhaitham into Bergian, you could run Alhaitham into Bloom, you can run Alhaitham into Hyper Bloom, you can run Alhaitham possibly into Monodendro if there was enough, like, you know, characters that work with that. We don't really have that meta right now. Like, I feel like Alhaitham being an on-fielder with a very simplistic kit works to his favor, and he has really great, like, cleave, where Kanish is more single target. So that's why I put Alhaitham above. And then Nihida, because Nihida's busted and broken. Like, fucking insane. Like, Nihida feels like another level beyond everyone else. In Dendro, personally. So I felt like that was, in my opinion, but obviously I'm biased, I felt like I was fair. It's so quiet right now because there's no music. I would put music on, by the way, but I don't want to get DM, like, you know, music hit on YouTube. Okay, wait, where's our girl? I feel like I should make a known tier for Nihida. Emily, I don't know if I'm willing to put Emily in SS tier. Baiju would be bottom of S in my opinion. I think I'm still comfortable putting Alhaitham in SS tier. Where's Alhaitham? Where's the gay? I think Alhaitham is still strong. There are some people being like, Alhaitham is not that strong anymore. And I'm like, you're like smoking coke. Like, what are you talking about? Are we playing the same game? Dendro. Wow, where are all the Dendro characters? Because they all released at once. Tainari, I think, is A. I don't think he's bad. I think Kanish is S. Is he SS? He's really bursty, though. Kanish into like a boss is really good. Is he SS, though? I feel like I could make a valid argument to even. Oh, Yao Yao. I think Yao Yao's B. She has good application. If her ultimate burst was off field, she would have been like S tier in my opinion. It just sucks that she has to be on field for that freaking burst. Kaveh, I feel like is C tier. I don't even feel like Kale's this bad. I feel like Kale and Kaveh are around similar. I don't want to put Kale all the way in D. She's not the worst. She's just not the greatest. Who am I missing? I have to be missing someone. Is that really it? Oh, Kirara. True. That damn cat. I feel like Kirara and Yao Yao are about the same. I put them both in B. Like, I feel like that's fair. I feel like Yao Yao has at least off-field application. I feel like Kirara is a stronger unit in, like, a defensive option. So that I feel like that kind of cancels each other out. Now, if that hacked Kaveh, SS. Yes, hacked Kaveh would be SS tier. Is that everybody? I think that is. I feel like this is fair. Dendro Traveler, if I had to put them, I'd probably put them in A. If not, like Loki S. No, I don't think I would put them in A. Yeah. Isn't Kaveh good in Bloom? Kaveh is good in Bloom, but Bloom is good without him anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you had to choose between Kaveh and Nilu, you would take Nilu. So I asked a few Discord people if they agree with the tier list you made, and a lot of people said Ito 5, Zhongli 4, because Ito is less versatile. Ariaka 2 and Rio 1. I feel like, you know what? Like, the more you talk about it, yes, I can agree. Like, I definitely feel like there's an argument to be made of a switch here. Fair. Because of the way Geo's been going lately. I think that is definitely a valid criticism. But I will not succumb to it, and I will stick my ground because I am a streamer and I refuse to ever be wrong. So you're all wrong and I am right. Because if I admit that I'm wrong, then I will never recover. It's that simple. Because if I admit that I'm wrong, no one will ever take me seriously. So I will stand on my wrong opinion to the day I die, and I will deny and gaslight my way until everyone forgets about it because there's new drama tomorrow. Don't worry, Chad. I know the meta. I know the meta. I know what everyone else is doing. Okay, Hydro. Hydro was based. The only thing which I agree with people, I was so torn with the fifth position. And I heard people and I was like, girl, I was going back and forth, was between Sing Show and Kokomi. I really was. I hope people know, like, I was going back between like Sing Show, Kokomi, Sing Show, Kokomi. But then I was looking at my list and I was like, oh, I don't have a healer. And I feel like, how the fuck am I not? You know what I mean? Like Hydro is like so iconic for, oh well, I need application and a healer, so Kokomi. Um so I think like Sing Show is like just on the border. Yeah. I feel like this was pretty based. Although Milani has a lot of damage, she's fucking clunky and annoying. And like vaporizing with her is just so inconsistent. I feel like she could again be stronger in the future with better characters. Yolon is just Sing Show, but with the damage. Nuvolette is obviously self-sustaining, standing on my own, and then Farina's just busted and broken. We've known this. Sejuin better than Nuvolette? Okay. We're just throwing out the most insane takes into the world. So I feel like this was pretty, like, you know, level-headed, in my opinion. Where am I going to put people? Farina's SS tier. Where's Nuvolette? Where's Daddy? Nuvolette, SS tier. Would I put Yolanda in SS tier? No. I would not. Well, I don't know. I see. I find myself not always using Yolanda or Sing Show. I'm really debating. I'm really debating. Oh, let me think on that one. I feel like I have to put these two next to each other for now. Who else is there? Milani. And then Kokomi. Fuck, man. That's really difficult. See, and now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, damn, maybe I should have kicked out Kokomi because like they like Yolon and Sing Show are so similar. But then it's like they Kokomi has so much usage, man. Like so much usage. I've used Kokomi so many times in so many scenarios. Mm. Like, and Milani's just so specific. I do think Milani is suffering though. Let's leave that. Let's leave that for now. I don't know if I'm willing to put these people in SS at this point with how strong like Nuvolette and Farina are. Like they just feel like another level. I'm gonna leave this. I feel like I'm comfortable with that. Okay, who else is left? We have Barbara. I'm putting her at C. I just find like, although like I don't think Barbara's necessarily bad, I just like struggle to find any reason to take her. There's just everyone does everything better. Sejuin I think is B. I do not want to put her any higher than that. I think Sejuin is like one of the most pointless characters they've released. The only thing that they got going for her is literally team wide healing. I think she's just like so useless and so disappointing. What a great animation kit though. Mona, I mean Mona still provides burst buff, so I'm putting her name. She has application, not the greatest, but it's something. I think she's a quick fix in a scenario where you're running out of options. Nilu is S, but way too specific. But S. Bloom goes crazy. There's just not enough that centers around Bloom, but I think Bloom goes crazy. Child, fucking Tartaglia. Where is he? Where's this stupid ginger? I'm putting him at the bottom of S. I think he's strong. I think he's strong. I think he continues to work well in the meta, but I don't really see many improvements coming from here. And he's still a nuke. I think Child though could get stronger in Notland with a really strong pyro application, right? Like if we have a Xiangling or Bennett power creep, bitch, Child might pop off. Like we might be seeing like Child, Mavika, Shalonen teams going insane. Because of that, because also he has that same like application issue sometimes too. Ayato's so fucking mid. Literally, like my biggest regret. He's like almost in B tier at this point, in my opinion. I can't wait for him to continue to lower. Worst story quest, worst character, so boring, so basic. Fuck Ayato. What a continued disappointment that man continues to be. Candace, honestly, even below Barb. Candace just like does not have usage. Works in plunge though. I tried it. Was workable, but she's just like why like there I on it like she's borderline D. Honestly, I might put her in D. I feel bad, but I will. Was he a disappointment at the fridge? No, he knows how to do it. He knows when to do it and how to do it when it needs to be done. I think I'm happy with that. Is that all Hydro? I'm happy with that. I feel there's too many in us. There's too many. Somebody has to get voted off the villa. Ooh. Or somebody goes up. Like, I'm trying to think, and I'm like, Milani. Okay, if we were in a meta where bosses were not just like fucking everywhere in both like on all content, I would put Milani down. But right now we are in a boss meta, but Child does well in bosses too. You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I just think it's because Hydra's so fucking strong. I'm gonna leave this. I think this is fine. I'm fine with moving Elon up. I'm gonna leave this. It's just because Hydra's broken. That's why. I can't bring myself to move anyone. Everyone feels like they're in the rightful place, so I feel like I have to stick with that. All right, last one, chat. Oh my god, this took so long. How long have I on stream? This is like an hour. Freaking Animo. Anyone that said Wanderer should have been here, go back to school. Literally, go back to the fucking academia with your mans in Sumeru. You're dumb as hell. Like, they were coping so hard. There were some people being like, Sucrose. And I'm like, Sucrose is literally almost as good as Kozwa in some scenarios. Like, I'm like, just tell me you don't know how to play the game. Just tell me you don't know how to play the game. Just tell me. Tell me right now. Tell me you don't know how to play. Sucrose is like definitely the underdog. Like I feel like people don't know how strong Sucrose can be, but like that EM buff is crazy, especially with like Animo. Yeah. I feel like I was pretty fair. I think Zhao got a huge buff with like Farina, for instance, and Shenyun to the point that like he can deal really crazy damage and he keeps up with damage right now in the game. I think if we were in a scenario where Farina or Shenyun existed, he would be like yeeted, obviously. Um, Although Wander can benefit from Farina, Shenyun does not benefit him, and I just feel like he's clunky. I think Wander feels clunky. I don't even know if there's ever going to be a fix for it. I just think the kit in itself is mid, and like it is what it fucking is. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think that they set him up to be successful in the future either, and that's why. Anyways, to the tier list of animo characters though, Cause was obviously SS. Um, I think Sucrose low-key, I could make an argument for being SS with Shenyun. Like, all three of them are busted. Zhao, I feel like, is S. Venti, borderline, honestly, I would put in A. I don't really think I would put Venti in S tier just because of the way the meta's developed with, like, people not being able to be sucked. Um, and then I would still put Wanderer in A tier personally, just like lower than obviously Venti. Lynette is D. Farazan is A, but only for Animo. Still strong though, but very hyper specific. And Jean is A tier, low key above Faru, low key above them too. Just because of the current meta with Farina. Because Shenyun wasn't enough of a power creep when it came to healing to like literally knock Jean out of existence. Do you know what I mean? But I do think that, you know, it could happen eventually. Oh yeah, Sayu. I feel like Sayu really has usage. I'm putting Sayu C. I don't think it's D. I think there are some reasons, but I don't feel like Sayu has usage. Oh yeah, C4 Jean is good too. Hazo. Hazo's like a B, which feels so like I feel like Hazel's B. He's not bad, but he's not like, oh my god, this is insane. He does good damage for a 4-star, and he's like a driver. But like, there's not really a meta being developed in his direction. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like B is a comfortable slot for him. Chaska. I feel like Chaska's gonna be like either S or SS personally, from what I've seen. Chaska sounds crazy. Chaska sounds like, from what I've heard about her kit, Chaska sounds like a reinvention of what Animo can truly do. Like, I think Chaska might be like up there with Kazuha and all that. So funny that the Animo tier list forms an F. For real. We'll see who gets drip marketed. I don't think it's Chaska though. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Mavica and La Senora. I think they'll wait because we're not even gonna get. I don't know if we're gonna get exploration yet. So I think they're gonna do Mavica and La Senora, and then they'll wait for Chaska to come out, maybe with Sitlali. Anyways, that's the video. That's the tier list. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think. Scream, shout, let it all out. Follow, subscribe. We can't really follow on YouTube, but subscribe for more. Enjoy the VOD channel. Go to my main channel. And hopefully I don't get killed. Cool. Damn, that was a long